Right, well, I suppose we better get this these rusks. Well, what we can do instead is use the 7/8 to pump its own tyre up. I'll show you how. Right muckers, welcome back to the channel, and we're cracking on with the 7/8-10 in anticipation of going head to head with the 8-2-10. Now, as you can see, we've already put on the new front headlights. I know it's going to make any difference whatsoever, but it just looks better. So we've got them all put on. So the next thing we need to do, though, you can see something should be here, which is the tombstone. Now, in order to give myself a fighting chance, I need to get some weight on the front axle. And for that, I need the actual tombstone, the weight carrier itself, which is a big casting that goes on here, and then the weights hang on that. But I don't have one. Now, the original 10 series tombstones had a sort of hollow part behind them, and then spaces where the bolts went through. And then there was like a shelf on top. So it looked like all one big solid lump, but it basically brought the weights further forward by 3-4 inches. May not sound a lot, but but no, seriously, weight transfer forward, an inch or two makes a massive difference. Now, the only thing is that I have seen a couple of those crack over the years. I mean, they've been given some stick, but there we are. Now, in fact, when they made the 40 series, they did away with that spacer, and they basically went hard up against the tombstone itself. Now, a couple of months ago, I actually got a 10 series front tombstone for that. But as I said, haven't seen the spacers and everything. And I just thought I'd prefer a 40 series one on this. So it's right up against that front. Now, some people will say, oh, you should have the 10 series one. Yeah, I know, I could do a million things, but I want what I want on my tractor. And I want a 40 series tombstone. Because they look the same, as I said, apart from that little bit of a shelf. Yes, I'm going to lose a little bit of weight advantages by throwing it forward sort of 3-4 inches, but I don't think that's going to make or break the whole situation. The thing is, where am I going to get a 40 series tombstone for this? Now, the irony of it all is that the tractor that the tombstone's going to come off, and the bloke that owns it, is the same one I'm going up against head to head for the challenge. Billy Edwards. Right, buddy. So there it is. This is your 8-2-10. And the most difficult thing is, let's face it, both you and I think this is going to win. But most people seem to think 7/8 will beat these because these were, yes, they were bigger. So the 7/8-10, 103 horsepower, but smaller, more nimble. 8-2-10. About 116, bigger, and you've got a fuel tank up here, which makes it taller.
Yeah, and a bit more capable.
Well, this is, I know, and this is, I don't know. The trouble is that these weren't all electronic governors, electronic injectors and things so that you can map the exact parameters. No. These are just a conventional engine, and that was the thing. So yeah, 103 horsepower, 116 horsepower, there should be a massive difference in performance. There wasn't, because some were just much more punchy, like the 7/8s, some were genuinely had a lot more go.
The same with these. I mean,
we knew of one.
We knew of one.
It was a
big,
wasn't
it depended on the dealer that came through as well, because a lot of the dealers gave them a bit of a helping hand.
Yeah, the old magic spanner.
Yep.
Is that what I think it is?
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
But that went on with most manufacturers, Massey, John Deere and whatever.
Yeah.
So you never knew, and even then it could come through this. You could have 3 8.210s. Some big estates had like 2 or 3 8.210s and 4 or 5 7.8s and a couple of 7.6s or whatever, and they were all different from the outset. And that's the thing. It wasn't a case of just plug the old computer in. Oh yeah, we can tweak that, and they're all the same. It wasn't.
Also, how they all run in. There's a massive difference. If you didn't run them in right, they never would pull.
Some old boys, you know, from the early days of the internal combustion engine, you had to bed it in, give it time. Maybe for a few hundred hours you'd change the oil, then you could increase the revs. And a lot of old boys still carry that on from the days when they had a standard Fordson or whatever just after the war, you know.
Yeah.
But times did change. They weren't the best. But people, some of my old boys would go, right, new tractor, what are we going to do? Stick that straight on the subsoiler. And they would give it the beans from day one. 2 things happened, and I often noticed this with the Fords. They wouldn't smoke as much when they had hard work, right from the offset.
Yeah.
And also they seem to pull better. So, right, at the moment, so you got front linkage, which
I've never seen before.
no, it's very few, you know, that had a front linkage on them. And the other thing that this has got is air.
Which I've never seen before.
No.
Yeah.
It has got a proper air system on it for like air brakes and whatever.
Well, it was an import.
Yes, yeah. Would it come from France or?
I'm not entirely sure. He did tell me at the time that that was either France or Holland. I can't remember if it was one or the other. But it had a Euro hitch on it. He had the actual hitch part, but no drop arms or anything. So I've still to sort that out.
Yeah.
I did make some myself, but they're fine when you're hooking a trailer up. But when you put it on a cultivator or something, they snag when they go down.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Take them off.
But yes, it's unusual. So you got an advantage straight off. You got getting your weight out the front there. So you know, I'm not making excuses, but no, it's a bit like that. Yeah, that is an advantage. But at the end of the day, what people have got to realise is it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? It's just interest and fun. We want to find out between 2 tractors, and we could get another 7.8 or another 8.210 and have a completely different end result.
Yeah, and you can rig it.
Because you
Very,
can.
very easily.
Do you know one of the first things that people said when I said we were going to do this is, oh, you got to stick a turbo on.
Yeah.
Shut up, you cunt! So, what advantages should technically you have over me? Well, you've got longer wheelbase, you've got more horsepower, you've got a bit more weight, even when it's bare. You've got about half a ton, just over half a ton more than the 7.8.
Yeah.
But then you've got now this front linkage and your weights over there. That's going to give you, you know, with the long wheelbase and that, you've got to have an advantage on grip on me, surely.
There's not much weight in the box.
You'll have that absolutely packed with pig iron, Billy. I know you will. Don't trust you. Yeah, it's all it's full of rubble. We're at the moment, obviously, I haven't got a tombstone, so. But if I get a tombstone and a pack of weights, get that on there, get that tombstone bolted on. That's going to give me a bit more weight. Tyre sizes. Now you're on 28s on the front. I'm on 24s. 14.9s. Yeah, I'm on 16. I think no, I don't.
You're 14.9.
14.9 24s.
Yeah.
Now you're on 18.4s, aren't you?
Yeah.
38s, and I'm on 16.9s.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Which was standard. Right?
That's right. That was just what I've got and what you've got standard. But obviously you've got a bit more rubber on the ground. 18.4s, both that way and that way. But look, if I was sort of betting man and you've got to be able to beat me with this. You've got to at this spec. Time I get the weights on and go through it, you know, I'll have a fighting chance. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but the extra weight can be an advantage, it can be a disadvantage.
This is something very, you know, you picked up one. People said to me, all you got to do is put all new tyres on.
Yeah.
Trouble is with that, if she's weighted up, and they are gripping because she's got all the tread.
How much tread? A f***ing all of it.
Sometimes that means there's no give. And if there's no give, there's only one thing's going to die down. In the wheel spin, it's the engine. You can pull an engine down like to nothing, put her on her knees.
Yeah.
No tread. All she's going to do is stand there and spin, and the engine's revving away. You've got to find that happy medium, haven't you? You've got to find where, you know, like with you and me, I think I might need more tread on the front. I might need to change those tyres.
Yeah.
You're about 50%. If you get the weight down, there'll be enough, just enough wheel slip to keep the revs going, rather than pulling the engine down, but there's enough grip to pull you forward.
Yeah.
That's that's
Take some weighing up.
that does literally take some weighing up, Billy, and you're dead right. I don't know.
I just don't like the look of those fronts. They look a bit too much like a road crop.
I think that's the type of tyre though,
Yes,
Billy.
it's
I
the
mean,
type.
if you look, they've got the shape of a bloody inner tube.
Yeah, yeah.
Ling long tires. Like this the thing. If you riding on ling longs, no matter what happened in traffic, it's your fault.
Yeah, put a nice set of Mitchies or something on there or whatever.
Well, I found some
Awesome.
50% trolley balls and Michelin.
Yeah.
I might try and do something on one or the other.
Well, if you're going to do it, I've got to update my front ones, ain't I? Because my backs aren't too bad. My fronts do want doing. So if you're going to do it,
But they all do scrub out, especially if they've done a lot of road work.
yeah, that's just it. Yeah. Well, we're going to have to see, Billy. I mean, like I say, I'm not, you know, I'm going to give it my all with the 7.8. I'm not going to mess about. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think it's going to change the outcome because, you know, it is a sort of smaller, lighter tractor, and I just kind of just know that these are a better pull. And when you've got a good one, and I think this is.
It's not where our older one was.
See, and again, you saying that, so this is good because as I said, I've seen it, but your older one was, the one you had originally was even better. That's a real good one. And so what, should all be the same, shouldn't they?
But like all of them, we had a short engine in it.
See, well, I always gone about this, about, you know, about these engines going poor, so, you know,
Well, that didn't go porous.
what happened to yours?
I can't remember whether that was a crank bearing or a big
Right.
end bearing.
Right.
And most of the ones we had go were the same.
See, a lot of them went porous, it was just a design, and at the time,
But that was age rather than hard work, wasn't it?
yes,
The
oh
hard
yeah,
work.
hard work's probably better. And those old boys that, because Ford used to run these, I think, around 70% water, 30% antifreeze, which would take a good frost and whatever, because that was the old traditional way. John Deere ran 50-50 with the cool guards, and any people that ran these Fords, these 401s and that, and the 4-cylinders at 50-50 never seemed to have much trouble, because apparently it cut down on cavitation inside the cooling system, and it also there wasn't the sludge build up as well. Late ones had the water filter as well, but on the 7, 8, 10s, you see, and you've got one here, love. So you've got a water filter on it. So, in theory, at 4,000 odd hours, you're about to shit your guts and go porous. But because you've got that, chances are you'll be all right. And as long as you run your coolant slightly higher, the actual level of coolant, sort of 50-50, they were no bother.
No, but these used to suffer as well with big end bearings and crank bearings. The end of the engine nearest the cab because they got hot.
Yeah. But the condition, overall condition of this, as we said, is very, very good, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's one of the last ones, admittedly, but
Yeah. I've had the bonnet resprayed by a friend who's Stag Machinery.
yeah.
They did a few bits on it. The alternator packed up, the air system packed up, and they had to split the shaft for the front PTO to replace the belt. And, so they've done a few jobs on it, and yeah, they
Kept it tidy.
Yeah.
And kept it all up together.
yeah, they've done the job.
That's good. That's good. You know, whatever happens, I still think this is a lovely looking tractor.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no two ways about it.
And looks the part, and apart from the doors, you know, that was in fairly good nick.
Yeah, but as I said, it's of an age, isn't it? It's not
Yeah.
new, is it? You know. But they can all bits that can be done.
Yeah.
You know, like you say, your cab's better. I mean, that's later, but yours is better than mine is.
Yeah, I just wish I'd put a seat cover on it. Would have got it home because actually the front of the seat is intact. Been in and out of it several times. And
yeah. But the thing is, though, Lou the McMaster, you know, tractor cab specialist, he's getting the proper covers done now.
Oh yeah.
So you can have them recovered. See, before you could never get that blue stripe, but now he's got that sorted out, you know. But it is a tidy cab, especially inside.
Love it. You need a roof line, but
Again, he does all that.
right,
You know.
yeah.
Splendid.
Good stuff.
Right, well, better go with this weight block.
So what we'll do next is we'll get it cleaned down, then we'll get it blasted, primed, then we'll get it painted so it matches that. So in the meantime, I'll get the collars that go in there, and then I'll get the actual tap to clean these out, these threads out, and then I'll have to get the proper bolts that fit in there. The front axle on the front of the engine block itself. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Clem Fandango.
So you can see this tombstone carries on right over the front axle and matches up with the front of the engine block itself. So it's all one sort of piece right through to here to this bell housing. Right, muckers, question time before we go. Now, this tractor's never going to get used in anger, and it's never going to get put back to work fully, especially at night. But a lot of people keep saying about, oh, you got to put all LED lights on it, change them to LEDs. Now I can see that on a modern tractor, one you're going to be using, not a problem. But for me, what are you doing, dog? For me, I just don't see the point. But anyway, that's the question. Would you bother putting LEDs if it's not going to be used, like I say, day in and day out? Would you bother changing all the lights to LEDs? I think the ones that are in the originals are perfectly adequate. And yeah, I mean, like I said, if I was going to use it at night, then maybe I'd look at it, but we're not. So put your answers in the old script pit below in the comment section and let us know. Would you go LED or just standard? Now, some of you said that you hadn't seen my videos for a while, but I've been putting plenty up. It's just obviously screw tube, just messing about. But anyway, if you want to go and have a look, there's plenty to go and have a look back at in my library, back catalogue. There's tons to see on there. Anyway, muggers, until the next one, do well.